right, here we go, ladies. All right. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Okay. As the universe would have it, we had a little Wi-Fi trouble, but we come through. We come through. You can't keep a good girl down. So here I am back with hot coffee and a hot topic. So also with me in the cafe is our very own special friend, Mrs. Bridget Respress. She's a licensed professional counselor here in the Atlanta area. And also Crystal Banks. She is a daycare director and an advocate for families. So we are in the middle of a conversation, y'all. We're talking about social circles. And I was beginning to set this out for everyone to hear. So I was beginning to tell you all how I just kind of thought I had it all together before my Wi-Fi rebooted. But I just feel that I'm trying to do the best I can to stay on top of things and manage my life, manage my family. And this week I had a meltdown because something that I know to do, that I do it. You know how you have these things that you do and you do them so frequently that it's now a part of your schedule. You just know to do it. You don't have to write it down. You need a checklist because you do it, right? Well, guess what? I didn't do it. And when I didn't do it, it not only did it impact me and my day, it also impacted my team. And I felt real bad about that. I was like, oh, damn. I was just like, ah. And the funny thing is, the day before it, well, I recognized it the following day. And someone on my team brought it to my attention. And I was like, my foot in my mouth, my thumb in my mouth, everything was in my mouth. Like, ah. And my teammate brought it to my attention. I acknowledged it, but I felt bad about it, and I spent the entire day trying to fix it. But let me just say, the day before, when I forgot to do this, I was so off that day, and I felt like something was not right. I was even telling my friend, I was like, something's just not right today. I just couldn't get it together. And so I'm bringing this to the attention and to the platform because I'm thinking like my mental space was out of whack. So what can you say to me about that? What happened to me that day?
You talk to me?
I'm talking to you. Yes, ma'am. You're the only one that can answer this. Don't nobody else know.
Okay.
They think I'm crazy.
Oh, no, I just feel like, right now we're in this pandemic. We've never been in such despair as a country in many, many, many years that it affects us mentally, physically, and emotionally. And as we're talking about being in social circles, it's not natural for us to social distance. Normally we're in this social circle, enabling our senses, meaning, our feel, our touch, our visual, laughing, talking, whatever it is. And in absence of that, because we're not in control, is fear. And fear sets in because we're not able to do the things that we used to do, and it limits our interaction. And some people, in the absence of that, end up having depression and anxiety that stares up. And the people who are already diagnosed, it tends to evoke even increased symptoms. So really, I just think that when we're so used to doing certain things and now we're unable to do it and we're limited, plus the fact that we are not, we don't have the opportunity to know when this is going to end, then we really just shut ourselves off emotionally.
Oh, wow.
And honestly, I just think it was just either anxiety or depression that set in, honestly. And so, but you couldn't identify those symptoms.
Anxiety or depression? I have to think about that. Anxiety or depression set in momentarily, you think? or or am
Yeah,
I?
I mean, sometimes it just yeah, sometimes it just creeps up on you when you look at the fact that um, what we're used to doing when we're in a social circle is our basic human growth and development. You know, we start that really at age like 12 months. And so when we're in absence of that, you know, it becomes something that we're missing. It becomes a void.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, it does precipitate mental health concerns.
I I do know. I do think that I was. I did feel frustrated that day. Well, you know what? Let me just say this. I did feel. Um, I think I must have suppressed this for days, but I have been feeling maybe bored with my day to day activities, just kind of waking up, working all day, and then going back to bed, waking up, working all day, and going back to bed, not having a weekend. You know, I would normally be stepping or going to some events or traveling or have some kind of outlet. Now, I have been doing things sporadically with my family and my friend, you know, just kind of doing some things away, but it's not nowhere near the level of activity that social activity that I would have had this pandemic not been in place. But I felt that, you know, I've been managing and I just pile more work on and just kind of find other things to do. You know, I've redecorated my home. I don't think I can find another wall in here to paint. Only thing left to do is to put the Christmas decorations up, but there's nothing else. Ain't no more closets to clean out. you know, no more pantries to reorganize. No more floors to wax. I think I've kind of done all of that, and thinking that okay, this will be over. Let me just do this, work on this, like everyone else has been doing, just doing home projects and finding creative things to do. And I think that pushing it to the side thinking it's going to be over and it's not, and it's now really interfering with my happy space of being able to go out and do things. And I think that
Hmm.
I just kind of got bored, getting bored and frustrated with it. I don't want to wake up and work all damn day and go to bed and do the same thing, but it's like this is a safe space. So what do I do? What do I do? What are y'all doing?
Well, I think for me, I just try to get as much rest as I can because I'm working all day. But, you know, you have to have some type of um, tap into your creative side. I've had friends who figured out, you know, they started to, you know, start cooking and delivering food. And I have another friend who is actually going out to help people or help kids, you know, with their homework and classwork or whatever the case may be. But it is unnatural for us to be living as we are. But again, like I said, it's really the lack of control. We don't have control over what we do or how we do it right now. And if we do, you know, we run the risk of, you know, getting sick or getting someone else sick. So, honestly, I just think that you just have to be creative in whatever you do. And some of us are not really used to that because we're just used to doing what we do, how we do. And, and it's not easy, especially now that, tonight we turn back the clock, you know, and it gets, we have more darkness than we do light, and people fall into this seasonal depression. And some people are not even aware that's what's going on. It's really ultimately about understanding and awareness at that point.
So you made a good point, and Crystal, do chime in. I when you said people not being aware of what's going on, I when I hear that, I'm thinking of people who really are not being aware of how they affect social circles and these social dilemmas that we're having. Um, for one, people who, let's say that my meltdown this week, I'm so frustrated about it. I'm so annoyed with it and maybe mad with myself or whatever that I take it out on other people, and then
Hmm.
here I go going off on someone, totally overreacting on a situation that I probably would not have overreacted had I not been in that crazy space within myself. So there are people, even outside of COVID, who behave that way. They are not taking responsibility for their actions, and not taking responsibility for what they do and say to other people because of their own space. And I think, and I have a hard time dealing with this, and I think that these people want others to be sympathetic of their situation and overlook and ignore their behavior that can totally is totally wrong, totally disrespectful, and totally out of order.
Yeah, that
So,
is true.
so to me, so to me, it sounds like it's fear characterized by behavioral disturbances. Like when you didn't do what you needed to do in the week, so your response was fear because guess what? This is just not me. So what evoked was just behavioral disturbances.
But so that's
Yeah.
that's clinically the thing. Now Crystal can chime in because I'm sure with parents not being able to come to the daycare, not being able to access their kids like they want, I'm sure they going off. You know what I mean? So, but my point is for us who are having an issue with dealing with this, but we sometimes we take it out on other people. Luckily, I didn't do that, at least to my knowledge. Ain't nobody called me or nothing.
Yeah.
But for the for the nobody called and cuss me out, send me no texts in the middle of the night. But for those who are doing it,
Yeah.
it's still not right. Regardless, that is this a reason, but
True.
clinically, it's not right, right?
Right.
Exactly.
And for me, the I think the hardest part of this whole situation that we're in now, of course, parents aren't allowed in the building. We receive children at the front door. Prior to COVID, it was already challenging being in charge of other people's children because when people leave their kids with you, they're expecting, and we provide a high quality service, so they're expecting that. So we want to make sure children are not injured. Everyone is following policies and procedures, make sure that children are safe, and also having in place all the necessary protocols around maintaining a healthy and clean and safe environment. Well, now with COVID, you have to go through, an extra mile with this. However, a lot of the practices that have been recommended, child care providers already had those things in place. But now it's one of those situations where if something does happen as far as COVID related, then, you're having to shut your doors for a moment and all of that and contact parents. And so those responses that you're getting back, you're blamed sometimes for the actions of people outside of your control because, we can't tell families. We can advise people to, follow CDC guidelines and do what they need to do as far as being in crowds and practicing social distance, wearing a mask, washing your hands off, and so on and so forth. However, when we had a situation back during the summer where someone tested positive, and for the most part, 98% of the families that we serve understood because they are aware of what takes place, what could actually take place during these times. However, you had some who questioned, what are you guys doing? So now that we haven't had any cases, since that one case, and it was not, it didn't spread. But we are struggling with people just following protocols. The expectations of the staff is wear masks, wash your hands, social distance, or whatever. But the families are not doing it. They want to bring their children to us, not wearing a mask, and they want to talk to you without a mask. And so it's a struggle because you're thinking, I want to be nice to these people, and at the same time, I want to remind them of what we're supposed to be doing. So now it's a problem because some people do not receive what you're saying to them as a way to control this outbreak, and also making sure that their children have a place to come while they work, because, with them not following the proper protocols, it could cause, havoc on, our program, having to shut doors or whatever. So that's my biggest struggle right now, is just making sure that I maintain my professionalism, but at the same time, expressing in a warm and friendly manner to families to, follow the proper protocols. And every day, you're getting cussed out, I'll take my child back home. It's just different things like that, when you would think by now, with what we're seeing in the media around the numbers rising, the number of people being hospitalized, how many people are dying, that we would be more conscious. But because it has not affected some of us personally, we don't think it's real. And so with me being the director of the program, it's a burden, not a burden, it's a heavy load to make sure that I don't receive that phone call that someone has tested positive or something like that, and being able to contact, all the people that I have to contact, and, and to inform them what our next steps are, because automatically they're going to blame us. And so we just want to make sure that, having that right mindset of knowing, you're responsible for others as well as yourself, and letting people know that you're coming from a good place, because you want to make sure people are safe and they're enjoying their day-to-day, while in your care. So that has been like my biggest worry whenever, something arrives. We've had parents who call us and say they tested positive, but however, luckily for us, it was during a time when their children had not been in our care. So we, have not had to deal with that. But that's just my biggest struggle right now, is just being in charge of, of a program, and reassuring people that we're doing what we're supposed to do, and making sure that everyone follows through with what they're supposed to do.
That's a good relevant point, because I think that there are a lot of other people who are managing environments or offices or spaces where they are responsible for the care of others, and I can imagine it's nerve-wracking, because no one will want anyone to be harmed or injured on their watch. And I would propose that probably more and more professional people who are in those high-ranking positions are probably needing more therapy. Has that been the case, Brigitta?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I want to give just a short rundown of what these symptoms may look like, so everyone that's listening can really just pay attention. And so if we're looking at anxiety, we are looking at, stress from work, home, personal relationships, emotional trauma, when you think about, whether you're losing your job, or someone in your household is sick, or trying to homeschool your child while you have to go to work. Financial concerns, as we know, a lot of people are losing their homes, their vehicles, and everything, because there's really no work, or the work shut down, or unemployment shut down. And so when you see that part, it's a major event in their lives, and they're not in touch with their emotions to understand what they're feeling in that moment. So then you sort of fall into like a depression, where it's lack of focus, lack of energy. You become hopeless. There's some short-tempered there, irritation, lack of pleasure, and even memory loss, Don. I mean, we can go, let's say that. That's a form of depression, is memory loss. Normally, when you're on top of your thing, and when you're not doing those actual activities that you would normally do, you do slip into depression unknowingly. And so now since you're not doing what you need to do or want to do, now you're feeling worthless and hopeless.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that this is all of this is as a result of really this pandemic that's going along. Let's be clear. And I think a lot of people who, fail to wear their mask or, sanitize hands or whatever the precautions are, you're just putting other people at risk. And I don't understand why they don't understand that part.
Mm-hmm. And, a lot of the symptoms that you just mentioned, mm-hmm. I can say I experienced, a lot of those because you're not even aware that you are experiencing, some of those behaviors because, you're just thinking, well, I don't have enough time. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. And, you're not managing your time well. But a lot of it, you are doing the best that you can. But there's so much going on that, sometimes I think what happens too is we're so busy trying to ensure that others are taken care of and we don't take care of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I know Absolutely. I'm guilty of that. Taking that time out, for myself and, mm-hmm. Having those moments where I can just go and just, meditate or, just forget about what's going on right now and just get in touch with myself. And so mm-hmm. that's a goal that I have for myself, moving forward is to look out for me and be more cautious about how I'm feeling, how I'm dealing with, my surroundings, my family, my employer, just everything, my friends, whatever it might be. But we really got to take time out for ourselves and, stop putting ourselves second because those things that we're caring for, when we break down and lose our way, those things are still going to be happening. And then we're going to be struggling trying to climb out of this hole that we've allowed ourselves to sink in. So I just, that's something that we really have to pay close attention to, self-care. Yeah. Because when self-care is first, then it minimizes a lot of those other things that we, that possibly bring us down.
That's a good point.
Absolutely. Also, too, I think that, many of us lack some of the life skills that we need when it comes down to adjusting and adapting. This pandemic is not gonna go on forever. But if you think about all I need to do is just adjust myself to the patterns that's going on right now and adapt to my surroundings, it won't feel as heavy. But also, mm-hmm. when you're not able to make those correlations, then you set yourself up for failure. Because now it's like, oh my God, I can't, like you were saying, Dawn, oh my God, I can't clean out another cabinet. I can't do another floor. I can't do nothing. So then the frustration comes.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at, emotional distress that you created because of the way you think. So basically, it's three things that you have to do. You have to adjust your attitude, adjust the habits, and then you adjust your behaviors. Mm-hmm. And so that would assist in minimizing some of your stressors. Some people don't want to adapt to that.
Oh,
yeah,
true.
Yeah. That's true.
True.
Speaking of adjusting,
because you know why?
Why?
Mm-hmm. I think too. At the beginning of the show when you talked about, what your perception of mental illness mm-hmm. was. You thought it was that obvious person that, that exhibited those behaviors where you could just automatically look at a person or be around a person and tell that, something was going on with them. But that's why sometimes we go through these things because we don't realize that a person who's sitting next to you who looks like they have everything going on really don't. Exactly. They have some mental challenges too. Exactly. So I think that's how we kind of like get lost because we have this perception mm-hmm. of what we think this thing's mm-hmm. supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
you
And
know,
and you
it
know
could be
what
that
too?
well-dressed, well-educated, highly paid person who, you know, lived in the nice home, drive the best cars, have the, you know, lots of friends and travel the world, but, you know, they're struggling too.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like loose
Yeah.
cannons, and they're like loose cannons. And the moment something happens, they explode. You can't say something to them. You can't talk to them. They're either overly outward with everything, or they're shut down. And most times it's because of all of these issues that they've had in life that they've just swept under the rug or ignored it, and not realizing and recognizing that it was had we focused on our mental health. You know, because even a lot of times with us as Black people, when we look at Black health, we don't think about health until there's a problem. As long as you feel good, everything look fine, you're
Yep.
healthy. We don't think about health until there's a problem. So we're constantly reacting to health issues. We don't do a lot of work in preventing them. You know, preventing them from happening.
Right.
Like, you know, now we're doing more because these conversations have come to the table to talk about health. So we're doing more with dieting, we're doing more with exercising, and we're doing more preventive things as opposed to reacting, which is what we've done for years. And even now looking at mental health is, which is why I brought forth that issue about me, because you're thinking, oh, I'm busy, I got things to do, I don't have time, and everything's fine. And it's those instances that it just happened infrequently for a short period of time, and then you go on with your life. But when they keep happening, and then other things trigger it back to what initially happened, you look at it, you got a past now of things, of issues unresolved that you haven't dealt with. And that's kind of why I wanted to put that out
Yep.
there, to show that for me, you can be busy and things are happening, but when you keep ignoring little signs where you need to redirect yourself or take care of your mental space or get people out of your space or put people into your space to keep your balance, to keep you balanced and to keep your sanity, you need to act now as opposed to acting later.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
And,
ladies.
you know, and also,
We
you know,
we're going to take a quick break, Crystal, and then let Crystal come back, and then we'll do some closing remarks. But I got to take a quick break to do a call for our advertisements, and then we'll be right back. All right.
okay.
Have you heard sponsorships are requested? Coffee Talk with Soy is looking for dynamic entrepreneurs like yourself. If you're motivated, energetic with a message or product, consider advertising with us. It's a win-win. For more information on those advertising and sponsorship packages, visit the website Coffee Talk with Soy or call me at 515-I-GOT-SOY. And again, that's 515-I-GOT-SOY.
Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Soy. All right, ladies. So we were just wrapping up being cognizant of your mental space, to make sure that you are aware of what your mental health status is. And Crystal was going to chime in with an example, and then we're going to do some closing remarks.
Okay. No, I was going to say, you know, right now, with what's going on, we're looking at, you know, some of us are thinking, you know, this is the reason why we're going through some of the things that we are. But some of us had these challenges prior to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So with, you know, COVID coming on the scene, it just intensified what's going on. So I think, you know, now we really, really, you know, need to focus on mental wellness, because what we don't realize is that it can also impact your physical wellness. And we really have to pay close attention to, you know, what's going on with us. And I talk to parents often. You know, we serve kids 6 weeks to 5, and we see it early on. But, you know, from the side of from the population that we serve, you know, they're kids being kids. But when you've had experience for, you know, long enough to recognize some of these behaviors, we see it early. And so, especially in the African American community, we are so far behind as far as dealing with accepting and recognizing, you know, what's going on with us, you know, in the mental health realm. So I just challenge everyone to, just take a look at what's going on in your life and even with your families and find ways to, maintain your mental wellness.
And you know what, and I'm gonna say, in terms, especially with these kids, a lot of times, I don't know that it's fair to label some of these kids with all these mental issues. Some of them need love, some of them need discipline, some of them need people to be patient and just talk to them. And then the absence of these things, they are missing this, and their behavior begins to show up, because as we know, when we don't get what we need as human beings, a behavioral pattern will start, and so these things show up in these kids, and early on they're labeled as kids with problems, with mental disabilities and things like that, and they never had an opportunity or a fair opportunity to learn and be loved. So parents, be aware of that. Spend time with your children, talking to them, and don't be afraid to get advice from other people about your children's behavior, and deal with it. Deal with it, because they grow up with these unresolved issues, and then they can't have relationships with other people. They can't get along with people. They can't work decent employment with other people. They can't have a functional relationship, because they can't get along with nobody, because all these deep-seated issues that most times started in their childhood. So try and get some help. There are a lot of programs out here now, especially with COVID going on, where you can now have your children to talk to a therapist, and you even seek help as well to get to the bottom of these things. And let's stop this cycle of abuse, and let's begin to look at our issues in our community, and deal with our mental health problems, so we can be better. We can be better people, we can be more productive people, and more importantly, we can be happy people. Happy people.
And can I say one more thing too?
Hold on.
I think that, we have a misconception too, that if something is going on with, especially our children, that they need medication, and that's not true. Sometimes we just need to change our environment, some of our habits. So just, putting that out there, because that word label has really caused a lot of denial of preventive services for our people. So just making sure that, being aware, and, not that you have to believe everything that someone says about you or your child, but just making sure that you understand, do your own research, and know what you are approaching when you do try to receive some type of service for whatever is going on with you or your family.
Absolutely. And I think the other part that I wanna chime in on before we leave is certainly around what we were just talking about, is unresolved childhood issues end up becoming adult social problems. So this situation is preventative, but you got to be aware that, you may, as an adult, okay, I may have this problem. I don't want my kids to be like this. So you have an opportunity to gain insight and better choices and decisions, and awareness that you could create for not only you but your child as well.
I like that. She said, Richard said, unresolved childhood issues become
Unresolved childhood adult social problems.
Unresolved childhood issues.
Yeah, becomes adult social problems.
Wow, that's deep and real. And real. I remember when I'm a fan of therapy. Let me just say, I am a fan of therapy, and once I started therapy, when I had some trauma in my childhood, where my brother was murdered, my mom, we went to therapy, and it was the first time ever. And so when things would happen in my life, I would, continue to seek therapy. And I got excited about therapy, and I got excited about learning about me. I mean, I remember she was like, "Okay, ma'am, your time is up. I'm in it. I'm still trying to figure out." It was like peeling onions, a layer, and I would cry often, but it was so rewarding and fulfilling to know, oh, that's why I do that. Well, damn. Had I known, I'd have stopped. So I just was so excited about getting to know who I was and why I was and things that triggered me so that now I'm aware of those kinds of things and they don't bother me. They don't haunt me. I've overcame a lot of those issues. So I'm telling you, therapy works. If you can find a person that you can trust, not a friend, unless they can be objective, because you need someone to help you get to the bottom of you and figure out why you do what you do so you can uncover those things and learn who you are and why you are. And then at that point, you can make a conscious decision as to whether I want to continue to be this way or do I want to be different. And then you then have the control over how you respond to things. And that is powerful. Powerful.
Yep. Powerful.
Powerful. All right, y'all. So this segment has been awesome. It's been exciting. I've enjoyed having you here with me in the cafe. Brigitta will be back, y'all. My girlfriend BJ, she'll be back for more. So I want y'all to follow her. BJ, before we leave, tell them real quick about what you got going on and how they can learn more about your practice and how you can assist them during this pandemic.
Well, currently I have my website. It's called The Conscious Spot, theconsciousspot.com. And I'll be willing to take, any questions or whatever. However, if it's out of state, the unfortunate part is I'm only licensed for Georgia, but I am open to answering questions to promote healing, especially in this time.
Okay. All right. The Conscious Spot is where you can find her. And if you have any questions for her, please post them on the social media sites that are available to you. Or you can also always visit the website, coffeetalk.com, and post your comments there. Thank you, ladies, for hanging out with me in the cafe. And thank you, Crystal, for showing up as an advocate for families, doing what you do, staying connected, and helping people to have better days. All right. Awesome. All right, y'all, we're going to head out.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, it's been my pleasure. We can sip anytime and chat. This is what we do off the air anyway. So we talk for hours about all kinds of things. But you know what? Everybody need a good group. Everybody need a good girlfriend group or a good guy group that you can sit and talk and grow with. So find you somebody. Get you somebody. All right, y'all. I gotta go. I wish I had more time, but I gotta get out of here. We've enjoyed chatting with you, and have a great Saturday. And don't forget to visit the website, Coffee Talk with Soy, and share your feedback on the show. Have a good Saturday, y'all, and we'll see you next week right here. Coffee Talk with Soy, your new morning show. Bye-bye.
I just love this show, Coffee Talk with Soy. That is your new morning show where real talk happens every Saturday at 10 a.m. I'd like to thank the listeners and the guests for joining me in the cafe today. What a wonderful time we had. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Don't forget to download the app Coffee Talk with Soy from your app store. It's available on Remember, it's the size of you. Be great because you are awesome. Tell them Soy said so. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. Bye-bye.